Today we're going to see who's better, the rock or the boomerang. Now on my viral video where Aussie man hunts rabbits with hunting boomerang, I get quite a few questions that ask, wouldn't a rock be better than a boomerang? Couldn't you just hit it with a rock? Now I'm going to present 5 different reasons as to why the boomerang is better than a rock. And the rock that I'm using is going to be a nice smooth river stone, and it's sort of the weight is just right for me. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. So I figured that I could throw a rock as fast and as far as I could, these dimensions and this weight. And I'm just going to be using my trusty old homemade boomerang out of wood that I cut down out of a tree not far from the house. And I'll also be testing them on the range behind me, and I've set out a 10 metre, 15 metre, 20, 25, 30 and 40 metre marks, and I'll talk you through those as the need arises. So hope you enjoy the video and let's get on with it. Number 1, weight. So it looks to be about just over 8 ounces, so that'll be around about 230 grams. And the rock is about 4 ounces or about 115 grams. So just on the weight alone, that being twice as heavy, it's going to have double the amount of force when it hits the target. Number 2, size, in particular the length. So this rock at best is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half times smaller than the boomerang. So that means you have 6.5 times more chance of picking up an object with the boomerang as opposed to the rock, just because it's so much wider. Of course, this rule only applies to narrow objects like sticks and rabbits. The bigger an object is, say something like a tank, the less that rule actually comes into effect. Number 3 is point of impact and the shape that it makes on that point of impact. So if a rock hits something, when it hits the object, it makes that sort of a shape. So sort of a nice round shape, and the impact is spread out in that area. Now then, if you use the boomerang, which is a very different shape, it's got like a knife sort of an edge, a sharper edge. That's the shape it leaves when it hits its target. So that is noticeably smaller. It might be a third the size of the impact area of the rock. So not only is the boomerang heavier, it's also delivering that weight in a smaller area, so that increases the pounds per square inch. Number 4, the fall of the projectiles during flight. So I've thrown the boomerang at, as best I can, the same altitude angle as the rock, and the boomerang goes noticeably quicker. The rock falls faster, and you can see that there's that aeroplane effect on the boomerang. It makes it to about, or just past 40 metres. You'll see it clip the left hand side of the top of that 40 metre marked card on the sign there, and yeah, there it is, there's the hit. And on the rock, which I'll show you just in a second, I'll slow that down. So the rock is thrown at a very similar angle, and it actually falls short of the 25 metre sign. That's just the wind pushing it around. That actually wasn't the rock hitting it. You can see it bounce in front of the sign there. So what that means is the boomerang is spending more time in the air to pick up the target, because it's taking longer to drop out. So therefore, like, your rock will drop down like that, your boomerang will keep going, as in this case for another 15 metres, and that allows you, it might give you another 5 metres in the actual plane that the target exists for you to hit it. So not only are you, it's wider, it's also essentially thicker, so it's going to pick your target up much more easily. Number 5, speed. Which is going to go faster, boomerang or the rock? So the boomerang here, from when it leaves my hand, travels 41 meters and then gets there in 1.32 seconds. The speed works out to be 113 kilometers per hour. Now that is easier to achieve that speed than throwing just a round object like a rock because of the leverage factor. When the wrist is snapped around at the last second, you've got more weight out further from it, so it will travel faster in the same amount of time. Now the rock, you just don't have that leverage out on the end. You've only got the power that comes out of your hand. So that is just like an unleveraged brute force coming out of your body only. And the fastest I could do was 23 meters in 1.09 seconds. Works out to be 75 or 75.96 kilometers per hour. So yeah, nearly 76 kilometers per hour, and that is nowhere near as fast as 113. So as well as going forward, the boomerang is spinning, and we need to calculate the spinning speed of the boomerang at the tip, because that is where its fastest point will be, particularly as it's rotating towards the object. So the boomerang has a radius of 22 centimeters, and in the distance of 41 meters it did 10 full rotations. So I calculated that to be 38 kilometers per hour. And if you add that on to the speed that I calculated before, it equals 151 kilometers per hour at the tip of the boomerang. So let's get to the bit that everybody wants to see, and that's what damage does a boomerang do compared to a rock. So I've filled up some milk cartons with some sand, and I'm just going to throw into those and see what effect it has on them. I'm going to be doing it from 15 meters because most of the rabbits at the end of the day that I've hit, they've been under 16, 17 meters. So I'm trying to keep it as realistic as possible as to what I can actually do with my own talents, I suppose. The main difference here will be that I've actually hit most of the rabbits on the run. I've only ever hit a couple of rabbits that aren't running, but try and make a milk carton run and I'll give you $100. Okay, let's have a look at the damage, see what the comparison is. This one here, that's the rock. So it's made a bit of a cut, tear in our lactose-free carton. And this one has completely caved in there. That was hit by the hunting boomerang. It didn't make a tear, but made a, would have gone in halfway through the cardboard and into the sand. So I think it definitely made more of a impact than that one there. I'd say that was where it impacted and just tore the side out. So I'd say we could safely say there's a lot more power in that compared to that. So the big differences between the rock and the boomerang are weight, size, point of impact, fall of the object, and speed. So all 5 of those are advantageous towards the boomerang. So I would recommend going after rabbits and other small game or targets with a boomerang over a rock. So thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next episode.